guys, but overall, I think they're a well coached team. I think they're very good at hockey. Hence why they had the best record and the most points in the league and the number one overall seed in the entire playoffs. So the Rangers are playing great. The Panthers are playing great. Like, this is just a great series. I mean, you've played 4 games, 3 of them have gone to overtime. Florida scored early. Yesterday, last night, they scored early on the Rangers in overtime to put that game away. And it turned out to be their guy who hasn't done anything in overtime. I can't remember his name, but hasn't done anything in overtime yet. He led the NHL in most overtime points or goals, and he finally showed up for him and showed up early and on what was a really nice play, if we're being honest.
Yeah, man, these hockey playoffs have been great.
So, I mean, we can own this real quick, people, for the little gaps and things. Anybody that's listening to the podcast right now, little gaps and hesitations and the loudest man in the room not saying a word for the last 2.5, 3 minutes. I called you.
I'd argue that you probably have the most booming voice out of all of us.
All right.
I may get a little louder, but you definitely have a broadcasting voice, my friend. I gotta say, like, you have that kind of voice.
But either way, we're having a little technical difficulties with the stream. So we're trying to get that fixed while simultaneously still recording Die on This Hill podcast for you.
We are,
a lot of fun trying to
troubleshoot. I'm just saying, man, we tell it how it is. We got friends that are listening to this, so shout out to them. I'm sure they're laughing at us.
Shout out to Carl. Well, I'm pissed because Carl, of all people, would have absolutely recognized that line. I don't know if I should play it again because, I mean,
honestly, that was one of the greatest lines in cinema history, just because of how funny it is to me. So
and we got the thumbs up.
That again, and not to mention, I don't know if there's more you can say about this series right now. So it could be a great way to transition us to the other series, where the team I chose to advance is up 2-1 and a chance to go up 3-1.
So, I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel it's appropriate.
Ladies and gentlemen,
No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
That's the one we were looking for. That's the one.
That's probably Igor from Dancing on His Head, dude. It's crazy. But anyway,
Dancing on the ceiling?
The Stars-Oilers series, okay? This is, if you are not watching this series, this is just as good almost. I'd say it is a tier down, but it is just as good as this Rangers-Panthers series. Dallas and Edmonton play very, very good hockey. The way they play against each other. Dallas goes down 1-0 in the series and has now won 2 games in a row, including the first game in Edmonton. And Dallas is now 6-1 or 7-1 on the road these playoffs. I really, really think this is another series that's probably going to go 6, maybe 7. But I would not be surprised if Dallas actually wins in Edmonton tonight and then takes the L in Dallas. I would not be surprised at all. And if that's the case, this series is going 7. But Dallas and Edmonton are 2 very good teams. It's been fun as hell to watch. I mean, I had this on Saturday night. This is what I did with my Saturday night. I was watching this game unfold. Like, this was a great game. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, like, trust me when I tell you, like, it's an 8:30 puck drop. We're not talking,
No, do you know what? That's the one thing I've loved about these playoffs, too, is that unlike what the NBA is doing, because to me, no matter when this series ends, do you know that we're still at least 7 or 8 days away from seeing any kind of finals game?
8 days. Mm-hmm. 8.
That is unreal. Like, there's no reason to have a week gap between the end of a conference final and then for the other team to have almost 2 weeks off.
They swept. That's why.
Regardless, you adjust the schedule just to have no flexibility to be like, nope, these are the dates we set and we're not moving them. You don't know. Again, you could have flexibility.
Not really.
Not really.
Why not?
Because you got to book these stadiums.
Exactly.
What do you mean? The NBA, it's the home team. How do you know?
No, but the stadium's owned for other purposes. They do concerts and other things that they've already booked.
Was conflicted with the Taylor Swift tour. They have to do this stuff months in advance, bro, and
I
have
get
everything.
So
I get that,
you
but they don't
can't
know
just
who's
say-
in the finals months in advance. You don't know who the home teams are.
yeah,
the
but
away
you don't know
teams
if they're
are.
going to go 4 or 7. That's a difference of an entire week right there.
But that's why you need to be flexible. And again, if your team's in it, you're going to have the arena available. You're going to have those games available. You're going to have those days available. They're not putting a Taylor Swift concert in the middle of, the Mavericks playing in the finals. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen in the next week. So
I'm just saying, man.
I know
there's
it can
other
happen,
logistical
but to
things
me
that
that
happen.
bothers me. Where I love what the NHL is doing by putting West Coast games and Western Conference games on at 8:30 rather than 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night like the NBA would do.
You're saying something like that?
Yeah, I'm saying I just like that they're able to be flexible and be able to put it at times that the most fans can get the most eyeballs on it. And to me, the NBA isn't doing that. People are to me. I'm going to forget about the finals with a week off. I'm going to completely forget about the finals and beyond the baseball and be whatever.
Hold on, you do realize that the NHL and NBA both are starting their games between 8:30 and 8:40 every night in the conference finals in both leagues. If you go back to the first round, you had an Eastern Conference game in the NHL start at 7:30, and then a Western Conference game start at 10
overall,
o'clock.
yes.
The NBA did the same thing.
I get that.
They adjusted based off of the amount of teams they had playing when it comes down to the
But
time
what I'm
of
saying
the
is
game.
they don't have a week gap between when these two teams finish playing and when the Stanley Cup finals would start. There's no week gap there. It doesn't exist. That's what I'm saying is these teams just keep playing. So there's going to have 2 or 3 days off, but you don't need 2 weeks off. You don't need a week off even. That to me is where I think it just gets to be a little bit absurd. And I wish that the NBA had a little bit more flexibility because, again, I do think it takes the eyeballs off of them. It takes the momentum.
It does. That's why they're
sucks the
hoping
momentum
and
out of
praying.
the air.
That's why they're hoping and praying Dallas and Minnesota goes 6 or 7. Because you're right. Everybody forgets about it because it's 10 days off. That's why they're hoping. They don't want to see sweeps or anything like that in the conference finals. Nobody does. There's less money that's being made when that happens, too.
But
you're
then
not being
when you
talked
have a
about.
joke of a conference finals like the Celtics, Pacers, and the Pacers without their best player, Halliburton, for, at least a couple games?
Hey, what do you want the Celtics to do? Lose a couple games on purpose and then put themselves make it work?
but
Indy blew a couple games. We're going to get there.
They were in almost every game,
It
too,
is
Indy.
the weakest run that a team has ever had to the finals, in my opinion. A Butlerless Miami Heat team. They lost Mitchell. Cavs lost Mitchell during that series. And the Pacers lost Halliburton. He had the easiest run. All 3 teams he played. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to be there. Good. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference. They ran through a really weak Eastern Conference. But as much as I hate to say it, because you know how I feel about Kyrie, I think they're about to run roughshod over him. I think that they're coming in hungry. I think they're coming in angry. I think they're coming in wanting it a little bit more. So, I mean, not to transition us off of hockey because I still want to talk about this Stars-Oilers series. But to me, like this, that's about the extent of basketball I really need to talk this week. Because it's really not going to be, we know who's going to be in the finals, but the finals aren't going to be for another week away. And
yeah, and we can blame the Celtics
we'll
for
talk
closing
about it
out
2
early.
weeks from now when it actually starts.
I mean, like if Dallas swept last night, it would have been the first time in NBA history that both conference finals finished in a sweep. So, I mean, that gives you an idea of how random this is for them to actually have such a gap in time. Now, how many sweeps there have been in the conference finals, I don't know that number. I'm sure there's been several. So there have been times where it goes 8-10 days in between. Fair. But also just the NHL finals estimated to start on June 8th. So if these 2 series ended up being sweeps, you would have 8 days, 7 to 9 days.
Get healthy.
Between the
I don't
start of
believe
Stanley
that.
Cup.
I really think that it would have started sooner than that.
No,
If
these dates are in.
Maybe.
Yes, they are, dude.
All right, maybe I gotta take your word for it. Maybe I'm wrong on this one. I don't know.
They have them scheduled already.
They have
Before
them-
the teams even are picked or seeded, the
Before
games are
everything.
scheduled.
They already got this set up to where the Stars and the Mavs
What, you
are
think
going to
MSG just sits there in between Knicks games or Rangers games? They got concerts
seriously.
there. Let's say neither team plays on a Friday. You don't think MSG
No,
got a
I'm
concert?
just saying. So you're telling me in advance already These teams had it planned out because there's a very good chance it could end up
the
Stars and
NHL
Mavs.
has the schedule through the regular season, right? Then they release what the dates will be for the games of the playoffs. To like, every team knows when the playoff games are.
All right, maybe I got to take an L on this.
I apologize. Like, I understand. Like, still,
Sometimes
again,
in life, Joey, you just got to take an L.
Where you're coming from?
And I'm
like-
taking the L here.
yeah, like
I'm going to play it for myself now.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right? You got me. You beat me down.
sorry,
You
man.
died on that hill.
I got murdered. on the
was
top of that
actually
hill.
murdered on top of the hill. You were dead on top of the hill. I'm sorry.
died on the hill.
But I just I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like, no, they have all these games scheduled.
Yeah,
So
listen,
the stadiums,
I wasn't
All
thinking
right.
clearly,
Well, the
obviously.
NFL already has a Super Bowl planned out. They have the AFC Championship game. They have the dates already. They don't have the teams, but they have the dates.
But is Dallas ready for 2 teams to win championships?
They're gonna have to be.
Are they ready? When? By the way, what kind of? Do you think they do a joint parade?
No.
If you were a city and
No.
you had 2 teams win, because they're going to win within days or a week of each
No.
other.
What you do is you have every Cowboys fan send letters to Jerry Jones.
How the hell did the Cowboys get in this?
Because think
conversation?
about it, the
Dallas.
Texas Rangers won last year.
Yes.
Right? If the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks win this year, the 4 major franchises, 3 of them will have championships in their respective leagues in the last 365 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I just would love nothing more than to be able to just have the Cowboys be the assholes that are just like, well, we go to their games and support them.
Hey, they're all in, Dave. Those
Sorry,
Cowboys. They're all in.
I'm bitter about this offseason so far, but anyway.
All in.
So the Dallas Stars, yep, look good. To you.
Yeah, bro.
They do look good.
But I'm rooting for Edmonton. I really want Connor McDavid to get that cup. But Dallas is killing it right now. They really are playing well, and they're playing quick. Freaking A, man. I've seen some highlights. They score really quick, bro. They were down to the Oilers.
3-0 after the first period.
Came right back.
And they won 5-3.
Yes, they did. They're pretty. I hate to say this. I think the Stanley Cup's coming out of the West because I think both of these teams are better than the Rangers and the Panthers. But we'll freaking see.
That's why they play the games,
That
baby.
is why.
That's why they play the games.
Listen, you can't sleep on the Panthers, man. They were the
You can't
number
sleep on
one
any of
overall
these
seed.
teams.
They were number 1 overall seed. What, 2 years ago? They got bumped in the first round. Last year, coming in as the 8 seed,
and
went
they
to
knocked off Boston.
Yeah, went to the finals.
That was awesome.
They're again back in the conference finals this year. They are a strong, really well coached, really good team. Like they're nothing to sleep on, man. And that's why. And again, with the Rangers, I think they have a difference maker in Igor. I think they have talent on that roster. This is probably one of their best chances they're going to have to actually win a cup. And I think that all of that being said, like, I don't know if I agree it's coming out of the West that easy. I think it's a dogfight in the finals, but the way the Panthers and the Rangers have been beating each other up, it's just been rough.
All 4 of these teams have a legitimate chance to win it.
I agree.
And
It's
I think
so even.
I think that's what makes. Like, I am more into. Like, last night, I watched the Rangers-Panthers game over Dallas-Minnesota. And then when I realized that the Rangers-Panthers game had like 5 minutes left and the Dallas-Minnesota game had like 5 minutes left, I'm like, all right. So the hockey game got my iPad.
Split screen.
And the basketball game got my my cell phone. And we chilled and we watched the 2 games simultaneously. But my eyes stayed on the hockey game way more than the basketball game.
Again, I'm going to say this. I don't know if I've said it before, but the more I've been watching it, Bobrovsky, I believe, goaltender
Panthers,
for
yep.
the Panthers, he could be beat high. You could beat him up top. And that's where if you watch a lot of the goals, a lot of things, they're coming elevated. You got to elevate the puck on him. You can get him in the top corners. He's not as great laterally. He's still good laterally, but not as great as he is. You can't face up on him. You can't try to go low. He's just too big. He's too wide. Like I said, you can deke him and you can beat him up top. And the Rangers have done that, and I think that's why they've been able to do it and score goals on fewer shots.
Exactly.
Because they've been able to find those holes, and he has holes. So as great as he is, and he is a fantastic, probably future Hall of Famer goalie, he can be beat. And I think that's what the Rangers have to go back and focus on. How did we beat him? How do we take advantage of those things? And that's where Panarin, Zibanejad, all those guys got to start coming through and noticing that and attacking those areas. And if they could do that, again, Stars-wise, the Oilers have a ton of firepower, but again, they came out so hot and they shut down. Mm-hmm. And, and the Stars, listen, they're nothing to sleep on either. They're an absolutely fantastic hockey team, and I actually think that we're going to see 2 Dallas teams in the finals. Wow. I really do. Well, obviously the Mavs are going, so that's...
Why is that obvious? Maybe this is the first time in NBA history that a team comes back from 0-3.
There's always a first.
There's always a first.
There's always a first.
Ant-Man has got that confidence,
There's
bro.
always a first.
If this is a first, I'll let you slap me with a tortilla. I'll let a double slap.
No, I'm not taking that.
No, you and him both can hit me with a tortilla.
But
if they come back from 0-7?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't even need another side of this, because it's not going to happen.
No, because that's not a fair bet in any form or fashion.
That's no bet.
If you get, to
You
me,
just
no, but I'm just saying, if it was one of those things where it was like, you get to slap me with a tortilla, I get to slap you with a tortilla, I'd be like, no. I get to slap you with, the backside of a 2x4, and you get to slap me with a tortilla. Because the unlikeliness of it happening, that would make it
But I would never actually swing a 2x4 at you.
No, I wouldn't either. But that, I'm trying to paint a picture here. That's how lopsided that bet would be. It's like going to Vegas and thinking you're going to beat the casino. You're not. The house always wins. That, you'd have a house bet in that moment. So I wouldn't take that.
Not unless you know.
But if you're willing to take one, I will happily slap you if they somehow come back.
They're not coming back.
No, I don't think they
I'm
are.
They win at least another
2
game.
Dallas teams, and like I said, I'll tell you what. As much as we were saying New York is a fun place to be when both the Knicks and the Rangers were riding high a couple weeks
Dallas
ago,
is going nuts.
Dallas has to be the most fun sports city out there right now. Name another spot you would want to be, because I know if I'm a fan of those teams and I can get anywhere near those arenas or bars or anything else, that is epic. And if they win. They both win somehow. If they both win,
Dallas will get burned to the ground in celebration.
See, I'm thinking of it a different way. I don't want to see it burned to the ground. I want to see people happy. I want to see people drinking. I want to see people enjoying. I want to see people going nuts, cheering on their teams. Just don't flip cars and burn things, riot things. There's no need for any of that.
Just ride some horses. Put on your spurs. Do some line dancing.
Line dance down the street.
Could you imagine the first time somebody from Dallas listens to this show and they get to hear us make statements like that? That is kind of messed up, but I believe it is not a stereotypical judgment. It's the reality of a city like
now,
Dallas.
what do you think? Do you think Cuban does anything special if they do have a parade? Say the Mavs win. Say the Mavs beat the Celtics somehow.
Shark Tank. The Sharks come.
You think he has a bus filled with sharks?
No. He's a shark from Shark Tank.
I know.
So the Sharks are coming. That's the big surprise. Barbara Cochran.
That's not a surprise. Mr. Wonderful. Yes. No, it's not a surprise.
I don't.
They'll probably be there. Why not? Why wouldn't they?
I think it would be a huge parade, but I don't think he would do anything that's like Tom Brady throwing the Super Bowl trophy from boat to boat.
You think he takes a jab at Jerry Jones? Maybe.
I got
another one, Jerry.
I hope so.
I'll be honest. I don't know who owns the Stars.
I have no idea either. But
I imagine they'll be happy too.
No, I'm sure. The city will have a great time if both teams make it, and especially if both teams win it.
Oof.
They will have themselves a great time, but still got several. Dallas still needs 2 more wins. The Stars still need 2 more wins. The Mavericks need 1 more. I think it goes 6 with Mavericks. I think Minnesota pulls off another win. I mean, that 3 by Luka where he got fouled, and if he made that free throw, I think that game possibly ends differently already. So
you can say the same about the Rangers Panthers last night. Before that game ended, I think it was third period. I was watching highlights of it too. Definitely tripping. There's a missed call for tripping clearly when you have to pull it up now.
Yeah,
it's a Lafreniere.
I mean,
He's out
I think
front.
the Rangers also got away with a penalty shot as well, only getting a 2-minute minor instead of a penalty shot.
Yeah, take a look at that. So, I mean, listen, anything can happen. Calls go either way. You can't worry about the calls. You have to worry about what you can control. You can't control what the refs are going to do. You can control what you're going to do. And
It's never going to be called a perfect game.
exactly.
I mean,
well, speaking of never called a perfect game, I guess we'll go there next, right?
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
What? I don't see a tripping call.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Is it when he first?
Sorry, everybody who's listening to the podcast.
God, stop
Dave is
it.
being
Jesus,
shown
get out of
a
my,
highlight right now.
get out of.
That's why there
set
was
of
that-
binoculars and let's really dive into it. Like, come on.
He got him with the stick. He
Poke
tripped
checked
him.
him. He slipped.
He tripped.
He slipped trying to avoid the
It
poke
was a
check.
missed call.
No, okay.
Missed call is a missed call.
Okay.
And you know who else misses calls? Now, Joey, I know you're going to have a little bit more of a go with me on this, but I mean, I think every MLB fan today rejoiced a little bit.
Hallelujah.
Every Ranger fan. Every Ranger fan.
Every
Or
Ranger
not
fan?
Ranger fan. MLB
Baseball.
fan. MLB fan. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, there are Ranger fans in baseball, but
There
they live
are.
in Texas.
Well, they live, but either way, I'm sure they've dealt with his shitty calls too. So everybody is rejoicing now that Angel Hernandez, after 30 seasons of torturing baseball, has decided to retire. Now, by the way, he was making so much money. He was
much was
making
he
almost
making?
$500,000 a year.
Jesus.
I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like that's a lot of money for an umpire who's been doing it for 30 years.
But an umpire who's doing what,
It's a lot of
100
money.
games
Don't
for
get me wrong.
100
It's a
games
lot of
or so?
money.
What are you getting? $5,000
I thought he was
game
getting a
or
couple
more?
million. He's been in there for 30
Well,
years.
30 years of getting paid that much money, he's got a few million.
Yeah, okay. But anyway.
he's retiring nicely. But we're just happy he's retiring
Why are we so happy that he's retiring, Eric?
because he blows more calls than any other umpire in history. He literally has cost teams games on multiple occasions. The
Biggest strike zone of any umpire ever.
As also with, I want to make sure I get this right here.
Why, you got some certain stats with him?
No, because there was one thing that he had the biggest, I believe it was the worst blown strike call of all time. It was, I believe, over 6.7 inches away from the strike zone, almost 7 inches away from the strike zone.
That's absolutely insane, and he does that time and time
No
again.
other umpire has come close. No other umpire has done that. Other umpires have missed. Yes, umpires miss an inch or 2, 3, even 4. You extreme with the 5. When you start hitting 6 and
6
7,
plus.
you might want to get
it's a
your eyes
disgrace.
checked.
It's an absolute disgrace, and yes, baseball fans rejoice that
Is there a video of this?
There it is.
there's super. There's,
New umpire auditor record. Angel Hernandez rang up Wyatt Langford on 3 consecutive pitches out of the zone. The strikeout pitch missed outside by 6.7 inches. This was the largest miss on a called strikeout in umpire auditor history.
Get him out.
You have
him
got
out.
to be kidding me. But anyway, I mean, from his blow-ups with Schwarber and Bryce Harper and all sorts of people, even in recent years, he has been terrorizing baseball for 30 years. And
Good riddance.
we
See
you,
ya.
Joey.
See you later.
Ride off into the
Alligator.
sunset.
Go
We don't need
enjoy
you.
retirement, dude. I wonder if he needed he needed glasses. I wonder if I can't come out on the air and say he's drunk because I don't know that. But the way his freaking strike zone was, it seemed like he was just drunk out there and was just making up any. Yeah, that looks good.
And it's not like you could say he did it against one team.
No, he did it against everybody. It was just him being super
At
weird.
least he was an equal opportunity hater.
Yes, Dave. That is true.
mean,
That is true.
like, they don't have any of the media for you, Eric. That's horrible.
No, they don't. But that's okay, dude.
I'd love to
6
see
inches
some
out
of this stuff so I could be like, wait, what are you kidding me? You're like, nah, that was a good call. I don't know what people are talking about.
Go on Twitter and look at it.
He blew 3 blown calls in the ALDS game with the Yankees and the Red Sox back in 2018. 3 calls overturned that he made at first base.
That's pretty rough.
He's not good.
That's pretty rough, man.
He hasn't been good.
Never.
But like, was it like all 3 on one team? I'm curious about that too. Like,
Doesn't say that. It just says that 3 of
He
them
was
got.
an equal opportunity,
a hater. Suck it in.
Like, yeah, he didn't. It wasn't. I can't say it was specific bias.
You know what I think he actually is more than anything else? I retract. Obviously, I retract the drunk statement. He's just a lazy umpire. That's what it is. I think he just wanted to go home, call strikes. Let's get the game over with. Let's go, bro. That's just lazy.
Go to videos. Eric at the top.
But yeah, thankfully he's gone. He's done. No more. There's going to be bad calls still, but nothing as bad as him. Thank you so much for being terrible. And
Yeah, like, thanks for your lack of service.
Yep. We appreciate
What
it.
a freak.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything. Sorry to everybody out there.
Anyway,
We were trying to get Dave some clips.
he'll have to go back and watch his terrible umpiring later. I got to be honest, though, I'm kind of happy I'm not playing any clips. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
they're bad.
he's just that bad, Dave, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to take our word for it because I don't recommend you go back and watch it either. 'Cause
Okay.
it's just why go back and watch bad calls?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I could live without watching bad calls. I will say that much. So,
Just-
but then again, for me, it might be entertaining and funny to watch since it didn't impact anything I care about. So,
well, I mean, we all. It's true.
no, I gave it.
He gave it a thumbs
Like,
It doesn't impact anything you care about. But the next topic I want to bring up just might.
oh God, I don't
It
know
just
if I
might.
know.
But we're gonna,
Knuckleheaded News of the
I don't know
Week.
if I want to know about what this is.
Yeah, because you already know. It's about the chain gang. And we talked- And I mean, to not pivot us again, but I got to get to this today before, the NFL, because I want to get to your Cowboys too, and why you're still so upset, because this is clearly an upsetting topic to you. But
They're all in,
before
Eric.
before we
all
get
in.
yeah, before we get there, the chain gang used to be all in. You remember them? They used to come out 10 yards apart, come out, measure for everybody. Some guys would come out there, refs come out there, cue cards.
Oh, that was a game, man, against the Raiders on a Monday night. He just puts the cue card in. He's like, "Yep, that's a first down." And everybody's like,
right.
all
Yeah.
the Raiders are like, "What just happened?"
We're gonna miss all those moments now, though. We're gonna miss all those moments. And that's the problem I got is because what? Like, why? Like, I get the
But you
technology's
don't know
getting
if it's
better.
actually going to happen yet.
Come on. They're into the testing stage. It's going to be tested during the preseason. You looked it up. If it runs well and goes well, it'll be implemented next season. But, they're now going with sensors in the footballs, and they're going to be getting rid of the chain gang. They're going to be getting rid of the guys. Now, I heard guys like AJ Hawk say, oh, well, good, they should be off the field. Like, they're an injury risk out there from players running into them and this, that.
That's not terrible.
Again, how many injuries, honest to God, can you remember or ever remember where a guy got seriously injured from running into the chain gang?
Not the NFL players, but I think it's more or less an injury concern for the chain gang.
But that's
I feel
a
like they
hazard
get
of the
plowed
injury.
over at least once a game.
Listen, that's
How
what you sign up for.
The big circle microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys get railed.
But
all
my
the time.
problem is how can you trust the technology? And I want to know who's running the technology. And how do we know that technology's not getting hacked during the game? And now extra teams are going these teams are going 8 yards instead of 10 yards, but we don't know the difference because we're just going off of whatever, the sensor says. I don't know these things. Maybe I'm the old man in the room. I might be. I probably am. I think I'm the oldest in this room.
First man to 40 in this room. I mean,
But I'm just
I got
saying.
39 staring me down the barrel. Like, I mean, I talked to you guys about it before. Like, it's
But
it's
I
right
mean,
there.
come on. Do you really? Is it really that much of a hassle to have these guys run on the field? Like, and again, if you're on the field playing, like, you still have to have some kind of marker there to know where the 10 yards you got to get is. And like, I don't necessarily think it's gonna. I mean, maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't. I mean, I know the MLB is trying out the automated strike zone.
Let's go.
It's coming, But it's coming because guys like Angel Hernandez missing things 7 inches off of the plate. If jackasses like that weren't around and could actually umpire a game correctly, then you probably wouldn't need that
That's
technology.
the same thing. These guys that spot the ball in the wrong places.
What's the worst that happens? Their chain gets tangled? Like, there's nothing that these guys come on the field and off the field. It's the easiest job on the field. You just got to avoid getting hit. Like Joey talked about, pay attention. And if you pay attention to the play, you're probably not going to get hit.
All right. I understand.
That's easier than being anything on the field.
Like
That's easier than a trainer or anything.
So I'm not gonna try and beat you down
Nerd.
on this one or anything. I understand 100% where you're coming from because it's removing a human element from the game. Simultaneously, I literally don't care. Like, and when I say that, I mean it like this.
You'll care fantasy-wise when your team loses because you're 1 yard short.
I've had those losses already. I've had the losses where it's been one passing yard short and it's 0.01. Trust me, there's no loss my heart and my brain has not already experienced in fantasy football. So
do you want to keep experiencing it?
It's not going to matter when it's all said and done. Fantasy is a combination of some skill and a lot of freaking luck.
Yes.
So 0.1, 0.2 here and there is not going to be the difference maker in my fantasy success. What I care about is the fact that if there's ways for you to prove to me that it's better or just as good, then I don't care.
But how do you know
I don't
it's
have to
just as
stand
good?
there and wait for the guy to run out and pull the chain and have the dramatic, drop down. Is it going to be ahead of the ball or below the ball? Boom, censored. Dude, didn't get it. You can challenge the spot of the ball if you want, but now I got to sit here and waste my time on a challenge. When the censor is 100% accurate, why am I going to waste my time
How do you know it's 100% accurate?
I don't, but I'm saying if there's ways for you to prove...
thrown, spiked. You're telling me that those sensors are built into those balls so well that you're not going to mess with them at all?
If you can prove it to me that it is, I will literally not give two shits about the chain gang. I'll forget about them in 5 years. And then all of a sudden I'll be like 10, 20 years from now, I'll be like, hey, remember when they had those guys that came out with the chain?
I wonder if maybe like one guy's there just to have a first down marker so players can actually see where the first down is. Like maybe you'll have just one dude standing at where the 10-yard is.
I just think it's another way that technology's being used, but I don't know if it's always going to be used correctly. Like
true, but they've been using technology.
See, that's
that way
the old
with
man
pads.
shining. Like, yo, I don't trust that. Have you ever seen iRobot? I'm just, bro, come on. There's gonna come a day where football's probably played by robots.
Sports gambling has never become more prevalent, right?
True.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's been doing it.
True.
But what if now you have somebody out there smart enough to write an algorithm, do whatever, where they're now ahead of the sensors or where they're now in control of this? Like, I don't trust it enough. It's to me like playing online poker. I don't trust it because you don't know if it's 4 buddies sitting in a room all playing with each other and just beating the other 2 or 3 guys at the table and taking all their money. Like, I don't trust it. Like, I think there are networks of people that do cheat the system and do those things. I know it's going to happen anyway, but I think this is just another way, an easier way for them to do it. Because now bets are electronic. You're doing them through your phone. And these games, the balls are electronic, everything. Nobody's going to question anything. If somebody starts shorting the yardage by, say, 1/4 of a yard every time, are you going to notice the difference on TV? Are they going to notice the difference on the field, really? Are they going to, that's where you can start influencing a game in certain ways that I wonder if that's actually going to happen. Is that a worry that, because it may stop me from sports betting in the future, where I'm going to be like, I don't trust that we're playing on an even field, where I'm making a bet that I think it's even, and I got a chance to actually win this. Like, I'm not talking parlays and whatever, but I'm saying if I just chose, say, anybody, the Yankees over the Angels tonight, and said, I'm picking, the Yankees. Well, I know that there's a fair chance that game could go either way. I don't know if I could trust that it's that fair going forward with so much technology getting input in the game. And I feel kind of the same way about the strike zone in baseball. They're going to have to prove to me different because, again,
that's why they're doing it in the minors to work the kinks out and whatnot.
But again, how much does that strike zone maybe just change by an ever so slight amount? So I'm wondering who's running all of that technology. Okay. And again, are they sports betting based on this technology? Are they doing things? I just have legitimate questions I don't hear anybody really giving answers to or really anybody asking about, but I don't expect guys on ESPN or the NFL Network or anywhere else to ask those questions because they're all in bed with every one of these sports betting sites. So, again, how do I know that everything's on an even playing field for everybody?
You're not wrong in saying that. Okay. I get your concerns, but let me tell you something as well. Didn't the NCAA women's tournament this year, when they laid down the court, people did that, correct? They were 6 inches off on each side of the 3-point line for the first 4 or 5 games. It took somebody at home to realize that the 3-point line was off. There's errors that get made, man-made or technology. Things are going to happen. Nobody realized it for 4 games. NCAA women's, I promise you. You could look it up. For 4 games, the 3-point line was 6 inches off.
I remember when they found that out, and they were just started. Oh man, I can't remember who was playing.
I forget at this point.
But the 2 coaches agreed to just play with the court like that because
it would have affected times for everybody else.
They each would have had to deal with it. So they agreed, hey, we'll just roll with it, and the game went on. But after that, they had to fix the court.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
There's errors that happen when humans do things.
That's a pretty easy.
But again,
that's a big
I don't
mistake.
know how you make
how
that
did
error.
that?
But again, at least that was benefited for the same for both teams. They both shot from that same 3-point line.
You're not wrong.
I'm
but
saying, but again,
still, that messes with the game itself. That messes with betting. That messes with a lot of things, and nobody picked up on that.
No, but at least the teams are even, so the spread can stay the same. Everything can stay the same. Even if it's 6 inches in, it's still 6 inches in for both teams.
So then, same thing with this technology. If you're saying they're taking out a quarter of a yard,
how do you know there's not a guy sitting there going, okay, well, for the Chiefs here on this drive, I'm going to give them an extra quarter yard. And on the next drive with the Steelers, I'm going back a quarter yard.
I will actually put on that tin foil helmet with you on that. These sport entities and betting go hand in hand, especially now.
They
the
want
NFL,
the best outcomes.
The NFL
with the most
is
action.
an entertainment product. It is no longer a sports. It is an entertainment product. So they're allowed to put their finger on the scale and tip it to the way they want. It's true,
And make money off of it.
and they make billions off of it.
I gotta be honest.
billions.
I am very impressed with the points you guys are making right now. Very impressed. Just kudos. No, I mean that legitimately. I'm not being sarcastic at all.
That was. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm not being sarcastic at all. I'm sitting. Damn it, Herc. Shit. I mean, even a quarter yard. If you add that up over a game.
And again,
makes
are
a
you going to notice it?
difference,
If you're
right?
really watching, are you going to notice this much every time?
What if
right.
you're setting up a kicker and you knew during warm-ups he hit from 53, but he went to 54, he missed. You just moving back that quarter yard. You don't know what that's going to mean because you didn't practice that kick. And then like Joey's pointing out, right? Human errors can happen too. We've seen refs miss spot balls. We've seen it get spotted in the chain game. You can tell from certain camera angles. You're like, yo, you put that in the wrong place. And they're like, nah, we didn't put it in the wrong place. And you're like, bro, we see it here at home. We're watching the same replay you're watching. How are you going to argue? We see it. You put it in the wrong place. So human error is going to happen too, but it allows you the opportunity to ask the questions and challenge what took place. Where if the tech does it, it's like, how do you know it went wrong? How can you prove it, right? We're human error.
Who's watching that? Do they have a gut? I know they're going to have IT people, whatever else, but are there specific people, for each game, they're going to watch out for things like that? You don't know. And that's just where my trepidation comes in.
So, yeah, I sincerely meant my comment. You two both.
Thank you, Dave. Fighting Irish.
And very well done, too. You went straight from the Angel Hernandez thing right into this. And Eric, you transitioned
just for
with
me
the
and Joey
knucklehead
here.
news. Yeah, no, I would agree. I concur.
Fighting Irish 57 is in the chat.
Timmy!
What up, Timmy?
What up, Timmy?
He's calling Angel Hernandez the greatest ump ever. I think he's obviously messing with us.
He's definitely being
There's
sarcastic.
big, smiling, laughing, crying emojis.
Yeah, no,
after
he's just as happy because I know that he's screwed the Mets on multiple occasions. I'm sure that both Tim and his brother Carl and his dad and all
Mike,
the-
and our buddy Mike.
and our buddy Mike. Listen, I'm sure Mike is doing a tap dance today.
It's every MLB fan is doing a tap dance.
Yeah, but and it's true. This is something we can all get happy and rejoice in. Like, and it's sad to say. Listen, I'm happy to rejoice in his retirement, and then we're not talking like something happened to him. You know what I
No.
mean?
Yes.
He's gonna retire. Good. Go.
We can bash him.
Be happy somewhere else.
God forbid
We're
something else
done with
happened. We can't bash him.
right? You know what I mean? But here I can bash him a little bit because you know what? Give him the boot to retirement. He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty. He'll do just fine somewhere in Florida or Arizona.
Timmy says the next ump to go is Joe West.
He could go next. He could go. And then who is
Was Joe West the one who got screwed
Jim Joyce was the one that screwed Galarraga.
Okay, that's where I was
Jim
going.
Joyce was the one that screwed Galarraga out of his perfect game.
Yes.
There's only been X amount of perfect games, and he literally screwed that man. screwed him hard. Like there's nothing you could do to take that back.
At least he's probably the only ump to ever admit he was wrong. And
Yeah, that says a lot.
he admitted that. He
But
admitted
the
the call
record
was wrong.
books
Correct. Record books don't
care about your sorry.
They
Guess
don't.
what? Sorry doesn't fix the lamp.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Oh my God! You keep shining as the old man in the room. That's some shit my grandma would say. Like, damn.
Kicking it old school for you.
Wow, I'm impressed by you on that one, Eric. I didn't see that one coming. Sorry, doesn't fix it. Jesus. Okay, I'm proud of you on that one.
Yeah. But speaking of not fixing the lamp, is where I'm gonna give I'm gonna give Dave his moment to shine here because I still have to know how can you still be possibly so bitter about I've even warmed up a little bit on the Giants. How are you so bitter about the Cowboys still? And their chances because
I will.
they still have Dak, right?
I
They
can
still-
I can answer this question for you by asking you 3 questions.
All right, give me him.
Has Dak been extended?
No.
Has CeeDee Lamb been extended?
No.
Has Micah Parsons been extended?
Yes.
No.
All right, I'm done.
I'm kidding.
That's
on.
it. It's that simple.
But why
And
did they need to
Jerry
be
is a-
extended right now if they still have another year left on their deal?
Because Dallas always complains about their cap issues. Dallas has cap issues because they constantly wait to sign their guys. They mess around and always use the franchise tag on the most expensive positions.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time they sign their guys, the market value from what they were when they could have signed them to what they are now when they have to sign them swings their money so bad. And they've done it repeatedly for the last 20 plus years. It's always the same crap every time. Dak has them by the cojones.
Mm-hmm.
But has Jerry ever shown you that he's not willing to sign him, even if it costs him money? He did it for Romo. He did it for other guys.
But it's not about him willing to sign his guys. It's about how they go about signing their guys.
I'm with Dave on
It
this.
has nothing.
why
Jerry
do you-
always takes
Why
care
do
of
you
his
care about
guys.
Jerry's money?
I care.
You always
I care
about. You always tell me about billionaires, and millionaires,
no,
whatever.
Because I want the money to be spent when it should be spent, so that when the time comes and you go to free agency, you're not sitting there dead freaking last in the league in salary cap.
This sounds exactly almost like the conversation we were having about Jalen Brunson, where I was saying the Knicks need to try to sign him and do everything they can to sign him this offseason, and you're saying no. Go get your money. If you're dacking them, why not play out this year? And you're going to go and get your money somewhere. If it's not from the Cowboys and Jerry doesn't pay up,
Because
he will pay up.
The
So
NFL is
why
about
do
the
you care about how much
guaranteed
Jerry
money.
pays?
They get the money up front. An NBA contract is guaranteed through the life of the contract. An NFL contract, you sign a 5-year extension, you're really signing a 2 to 3 year deal. That's it.
Yeah.
In the NBA, you sign a 5-year extension. You're signing a 5-year contract. You were guaranteed.
No, they have a lot of player outs now.
They have
options.
outs based
They
off
have
of
outs.
injuries and legal situations.
No,
Not just
like
simply like
LeBron's gotten out this year.
Well, that's
But
a
other
player.
guys
the
have
player
players.
has
That's
the
a player.
out.
Player
The
option.
NBA
Player
also
options.
can put a team option in there as well. But if they put a team option and saying, hey, here's a 4-year deal with a 5th year team option. So the guy is still signing a 4-year deal. In the NFL, when you sign a contract, let's say it's 6
Yeah,
years.
I get how
You
it
could
works. in the
cut
NFL.
tomorrow.
You could. They can cut you and throw your money to the side. They don't have. The NFL is nothing like
No,
the
but
NBA.
that's why more NFL guys have been getting a lot of their money up front, and a lot of guys like Daniel Jones getting paid 80-something million over the first 2 years, and even Cousins getting $100 million guaranteed. Like these guys get a lot of money guaranteed up front, especially in the first couple years. I get that,
and they do it because it alleviates
But they're
the
gonna-
salary cap.
They're
It's
gonna
because you
do it-
put it up
but
front.
they're going to
Correct.
do that with Dak too.
That they can't do. They should have signed Dak last year.
Because again,
Yes.
after 1 year, 2 years, they can
Dak proved
restructure it
himself
anyway.
after
Put a
this
lot of it
year.
in. Dump a lot of the money into a signing bonus,
Dak,
and then
Dak
like
can walk away from this team scot-free after this year.
yeah.
There is no franchise. There's a no franchise tag clause, a no trade clause. He has everything,
Yeah.
so he could walk away. So you're gonna tell me one of the top 10, and for the people that hate him out there, top 12 quarterbacks in the league, you're just gonna let him walk and hope you go find a guy? Like, it's idiotic. CD Lamb's
But
one of the
I
top
don't think
3 to
it's going
5
to
wide
come to
receivers
that.
in
I
the
don't
league.
think they're going to walk. I think he's going to
Extend him.
pay. He's going to extend him. He's going to at least extend Dak and Parsons. I don't know what he's going to do with Lamb. Maybe he
No,
feels like
they're going to fuck Parsons over, franchise tag him as a linebacker, piss him off, and he'll walk away after they can't franchise tag him anymore. I guarantee Dallas continues to list him as a linebacker because it's a cheaper franchise tag.
He's not wrong.
They know how to
Not
be
wrong.
cheap as shit.
I'm not
And not
saying-
they don't manage their money the right way.
But
It's
see,
again-
embarrassing.
But again, so they're going to get him cheaper for next year or the year after, whatever. They're going to franchise tag him. They're going to franchise tag him, and they should. Every team does this shit. So again,
No,
I just don't know why
not
you're caring
everybody.
about Jerry Jones's money so much. The
No,
way
I
he
care
spends
about
it.
I care about locking up the 3 best players on your team for an extended period of time. I don't give a shit how much money it costs Jerry Jones.
But is CD Lamb
And you
worth
should've did
$30
it.
million a year? Is he worth what
That's-
Amon
but
Ross
that's the-
St. Brown
that's
got?
the-
Is he worth what
yes.
some of these guys got? I don't think he
See,
is.
see,
He's the
that's-
next tier
that's-
down to me. He's worth 20-something, maybe with the way wide
He was the
receivers
number
get
2
paid.
wide receiver overall last year.
Yeah, 1 year. Okay.
And he's continuously gotten better.
He's gotten better every year.
Listen,
Every single
there are
year
other
he's
guys
gotten
out there.
better.
I would
Back-to-back,
pay more.
he's
I would pay more for
back-to-back.
Justin Jefferson than I
Back-
would for CD Lamb.
And that's fine.
That's
Justin
great.
Jefferson's
But
probably waiting for Lamb to
whoever
get paid.
signs second is the one that's going to get paid more.
Correct.
I disagree. Look at Ayuk. Ayuk's trying to get a deal higher than Amon Ross. He's trying to get a $30 million a year deal. He's not getting it right now. Nobody's giving
he
it to
might
him. The
give it
San
to
Fran
him.
isn't going to give it to him. No other team out there is going to give it to
San
him.
Fran can't because of their salary cap. They got to pay Purdy next year.
But he's
I don't
not.
think
What
that
team
he-
out there is giving him that money?
Somebody. Somebody will.
NFL teams
Maybe the
are required.
Giants will.
NFL
Maybe the Arizona Cardinals, but that's where you go to die. Like that's not where anything happens. You're not going to win there.
I would say more likely the Chicago Bears because Keenan Allen's probably got 1 more year in it. But anyway,
Ayuk's going to find somewhere. He's going to get paid next year.
I'm just saying,
But does he
NFL
deserve to get paid
teams
that
are
much?
required to spend about
He's good, bro.
78% of their salary cap.
Yeah.
Required. They can't
Mm-hmm.
just go into it the following year. Like they're required to spend a
I
certain
got you.
percentage
But
of their salary
again,
cap.
you're talking about
So,
Dallas
like,
spending it stupidly. To me, that would be spending it
no,
stupidly.
Dallas
No.
isn't spending it at all.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying they're not spending it correctly, right? The
Correct,
Jerry is
correct.
not.
Because they every year they have.
Well, spending
every
$30
year
million on Ayuk is not correct either.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Every single year they have salary cap issues. Every single year they do not sign a main free agent. Last time they signed a big name free agent was Brandon Carr, the cornerback.
Think you guys signed Stephon Gilmore?
Yeah.
A 33-year-old
Oh, that's
Stephon Gilmore.
Was Cooks in a trade?
Cooks was in a trade.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. That's all.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they had the last big name free agent was Brandon Carr, and that was like 2013.
Look,
That's a big.
I'd
it's
have to go
better,
back and
it's
look at the
better to
rosters
sign
again, but-
your good players early because it's a way to manipulate the cap better.
Yeah.
That's why. So Dave's saying because you didn't sign these guys yet,
I'm just saying,
can't
you guys
manipulate the
shit
cap.
on me for the Jalen Brunson and me saying to try to sign him early, and now you guys are all
but I said that
the
based off of
Cowboys trying to sign
Brunson's.
those
I
guys
said that
early.
based off of
And it
Brunson's
was him
perspective.
pooping on you. I saw both eyes because he had players
Only from
Brunson's
Brunson's
saying right now.
perspective. From the Knicks' perspective, 100%. Yeah, if you
But
can do
for
it,
Dak,
do
the
it.
best thing he could do for himself is to go to free agency next year.
I agree. I think every one of these guys should get paid. I will never change that stance.
So then why
But
would they
you
sign right now? Why would they sign? Why are you mad at Dallas for not signing them? Why would they sign right now?
That is the entire point. The question you asked me is, why am I pissed? Why am I still bitter about their offseason? Because they have not figured out a way to sign their 3 best players. That is not a bad answer. That is the legitimate reason I am pissed at their offseason. You want to go down the rabbit hole of everything? We did that. I'm with you. I'll argue all night because I feel how I feel. But the bottom line is I am bitter about the Cowboys because they have not figured out a way to sign their 3 best players and 3 of the best players in the league.
Well, see, now I'm bitter because you gave me so much shit about Brunson.
Because I was talking to you from Brunson's perspective.
I don't want to hear Brunson's perspective. It's
But
like
that was how I
It's like
talk-
me telling you Dak's perspective. It doesn't matter.
But it does.
It does,
It
though.
makes a good conversation. I'm sure people have
Oh,
fun.
yeah, but listen, it is what it is.
Stop it. Get yourself some help. Good.
No,
We're-
I mean,
when it's all said, no,
you
we
need
just had
help.
the same argument. We
You
just
need
flipped
help.
seats because it was different
Yeah.
teams. So I don't need help. I am on the same insanity level as you, and that's why we get along so damn well. Let's roll with it, baby. Let's go. That was
Fuck your
fun.
Cowboys. I want them to screw the bad thing up because that to me would be perfect. I heard it out there. If somebody put it in the ethosphere that possibly next year, if Dallas screws it up that bad with Dak,
Oh, I heard this. I know where you're going.
that Dak and Bill Belichick would be
To where?
in New York with the Giants next season. Daniel Jones out, Dak in, Belichick in. He's got a lot of ties to New York, not Dak, but Belichick. And if he could bring a QB like Dak to New York, and especially they just got neighbors, they got a pretty solid defense.
I mean, we know Dak can play good in MetLife Stadium.
It's just
We've watched
I'm
it
gonna
for
I'm gonna
not 8
echo
years.
what I've heard back out into the ethosphere. You know, we're gonna put it out there to the universe.
You know what's crazy? I saw somebody posted a comparison of Dak and Drew Brees through their first 8 seasons, and Dak's stats and his are pretty similar. His was Dak's are a little bit better, ironic actually across the board. And Drew Brees didn't find true success until he left San Diego and went to New Orleans. So I'd be miserable to see that happen, but it'd also be a great middle finger to Jerry, especially, just a year removed from 2 Dallas teams potentially winning championships and 3 years removed from the Rangers winning a championship. So I just hate Jerry Jones. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just literally am so sick and tired of that man being
All
the
in,
face
Dave,
of the
all
franchise.
in.
Like he's the face of the franchise, and I hate that man. I don't wish anything bad on him, but if I never had to see him or hear him talk again, I would be very, very happy.
That's gonna happen, and then you're just gonna have to listen to Steven.
But Steven really does not get to the mics the way Jerry does. Like, he gets to the mics during the offseason.
Jerry
during the
likes
regular
being a
season.
celebrity.
Jerry
Yes, he
loves
does.
being a celebrity.
Yes, he does.
But I think I could sum up your offseason so far with this little clip.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
That pretty much sums up exactly what Dave was saying.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was going to say,
go ahead.
yeah, ironically enough, Vegas released their odds for the season this year, and Dallas is favored in 12 out of their 17 games.
There
right
you
now.
go.
It's probably about what they'll finish with 12.
I got them
11,
between
12.
9 and 11 wins. Based off of how it just...
In your way
like-
too early breakdown of the schedule.
Yeah, before I'm not even close to ready to have that combo. We'll get
Win,
close.
loss, win, loss, win,
Yeah,
loss.
that-
win.
We'll get there in 3 months.
We'll get there when the time is appropriate. But yeah, sorry, Joe, you were gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna ask because we obviously know. Well, at least I did. That's the Rays pitcher who, for like the first month of the year, sucked. I wonder, did he find his groove again, or
I don't know. We're gonna have to look into
we're
that.
gonna have to
but
look that
I don't know if he
Or
ever
he
found
just
it.
didn't put hasn't been put back on the roster.
yeah, maybe he got sent down. I don't know. I never know what happened with that, but that's a great drop right there.
Right, and it perfectly summed up Dave's
Yeah, no, spot on. Spot on. How I feel about the offseason right now.
You know. And we like to leave the show on a high note.
I mean, making Dave miserable. That right there, ladies and gentlemen. If that's not a high note for you, I don't know what is.
We got the mascot here in the room now.
He made it back in.
Louie made it in.
Our fourth unofficial host there, Louie Aussie dude on Instagram. If anybody wants to find him, and by the way, if anybody wants to find you, Dave, where can they find you?
David Hastings 23 on Twitter at X. Sorry, I don't know if I'll ever get that. So David Hastings on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. But
Yeah.
oh, come on, get into the camera. There we go.
Oh, there he
There he is.
There he is. If you didn't notice by the posters in the background, there he is.
There he is.
There he
Live and
is.
in person. Yeah, here's your good boy. But yeah, David Hastings 23 X.
All right, me at the
Nailed
Living
it.
Legend on X. Follow Louie at Louie Aussie Dude on Instagram. By the way, Joey, you got an Instagram now.
Oh,
Why don't you
yeah.
Tell the people what it is.
Joey Doth 47 on Instagram, baby. Let's rock out.
And until next time, don't be afraid to have an opinion. Don't be afraid to share it with us. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube at Die on This Hill. Subscribe, like, share, do all that fun stuff. And until next time,
Do all the things. Shout out to Mike. I hope he's doing all right. I saw the Mets are really struggling, so
Go Yanks!
I hope Mike's doing all right.
until next week, don't be afraid to die on this hill.
Like Eric did.
Dun, 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 dun,
He
dun,
died
dun,
swiftly
He
on that hill.
saved.
He recorded.
And
Is the
now we
live
are
stream still
stopping
going?
the stream.
All right. Thank you, everybody.